I think in areas like ours, things can get too much too soon.
We're at the scene, as you can see, of this disorder that broke out in the Ely area of Cardiff last now.
We understand from South Wales Police a total of 9 people have been arrested over the disorder in the Ely area of Cardiff.
I'm still a kid. I'm seeing loads of people passing away, and you never know what can happen in this world.
You can never really leave Ely. For one reason or another, negative or positive, it's always there. I'm Liam Mackay. I'm a project coordinator for Step Into Sport at Cardiff Metropolitan University. My project is a collaboration between ourselves and the South Wales Police and Crime Commissioner. So we support young people at risk of being exploited by criminals, young people at risk of becoming involved in serious youth violence. So we support them away from that in a diversionary manner into boxing, MMA, football, rugby, all types of sports really.
Okay, Jackal's good there, we'll take the first knock off by you, okay?
If things start going wrong, for young people in the area of Ely, things can snowball really fastly.
In my community, like, you'd see people go out, be on the streets, chilling on the streets, smoking weed. When I'm growing up seeing all this, it's like, in my mind, that seems normal to me.
Poverty is the main driver of everything that goes on in Ely. Poverty is the main driver of all the good stuff. Poverty is the main driver of the bad stuff. But one thing that we do have is a huge amount of community spirit, groups and organisations who are determined really to make a change, bring Ely out of the ashes really.
Right, get by your back. It's the last one. 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 8.
When I was younger, the Cardiff Youth Service was a big part of our life. Tralee Youth Centre, which is no longer. You know, we had some amazing times down there when we were younger. We've seen services like that pull back so much, so local organisations and volunteer-led organisations have had to take up the slack.
People want to improve it, and a lot of it comes from the community. There's so many volunteers that do it for nothing just because they want to, especially after what I said, we had the tragic accident. It have brought everyone back together again, and let's do something for the young people.
Being a police community support officer, you're out in the community on a daily basis, and you are that link between the members of the public and the police. Step Into Sport is a joint venture between Cardiff Met and the Police Commissioner. It's a really good diversionary activity. It just gives them the opportunity to do something new. There's plenty of different activities on offer.
In 2017, me and a friend of mine, we sort of stumbled across the need really for a rugby club in the area. We started it really because the opportunity for something other than negativity is quite limited. We've got no facilities, we've got no clubhouse. Everything we've got, we've sort of scrimped and saved for. What we're trying to do is outweigh the bad stuff with some of the good stuff. Well-being and playing sport is the main arch of it, but what you want is young people taken away from some of the sports, life skills, being responsible, playing as a team and looking after some of your teammates. And all we can hope is that using the sports that we do, further down the line we'll start seeing medium to long term some better outcomes in the output for Ely. Rather than standing downstream, pulling kids out of the water, we're as a collective trying to get upstream, trying to find out why they're falling in. Prevention over intervention every day of the week for me. I suppose, and that's where you can do your best work. Like me, I didn't really start pushing on in my life till I was gone. 23, 24 years of age. You sort of live your life by seasons and seasons, and it goes really quick. So what we don't want to be doing is having players and young people from the area of Ely counting down their life by prison sentences. And on tag, I'm on tag 6 months. Before you know it, that's 2 years of your life gone. At the age of 21, I was a prison leaver. I was sort of out with some of the boys in the city centre. Probably drank too much. Some of the boys got involved in an altercation. One of my friends started fighting in a bar. Sort of took it too far, then went outside and followed the guy up the street, and things just escalated from there. Couldn't remember a huge amount for the night, if I'm honest. I just woke up in the cell with a white paper suit on. I can remember just thinking, have I killed someone here? Like, I just had no idea, no clothes on, bit of blood on my arm. I just sort of sat there thinking, wow, what have I done? The relief really of my solicitor coming to the cell then just to explain that it was a fight. I was like, oh my God. The kid was in pretty bad shape, so took a bit of surgery and stuff, I think, to repair him, and then he's sort of remorseful straight away, then hung over in the cell, remorseful straight away, a couple of tears. Having to walk from Cardiff Bay Police Station back home, it's like an hour and 15-minute walk. And the whole way just thinking, what have I done? What have I done? A year or so later, I took part in the School of Hard Knocks programme in 2015. Did pretty well on the programme and gave it my all for 8 weeks. And sport was there for me. I came out of prison on tag, went straight to the rugby club, trained on a Thursday, so I have to run home from training to be home for 7 o'clock. The game of rugby really has saved my life, really. And having that sporting community there to support you in in your sort of darkest and neediest times, I suppose, is why we do what we do now, because that sort of teamwork and that team ethic is why you sort of then think, yeah, do you know what, you sort of see the light a little bit. It sounds crazy to say, but I'm really thankful that the way things have gone, because I love what I do, and it's really inspiring, really, and we'll probably see medium to long term benefits of that, but in the meantime it's the smiles on faces, the happier children, the happier families, the children scoring tries in rugby and parents telling them they're proud of them maybe for their first time is the short-term benefits of what we're seeing. But medium to long term, I'm adamant we'll start seeing some better output for the area of Ely as a whole. So I think people resonate with what we're trying to do and believe in what we're trying to do, because they know that we're doing it for them and supporting local people. So it's designed by Ely, with Ely, for Ely. There isn't a lot of trust in the area for external. I've had a lot of negative and bad experiences with government, council, social services, police. I think being local, being trusted, and being responsible for what's going on in our area allows people to put their guards down a little bit, put their barriers down, and really acknowledge that you're trying to do best. You're trying to do what's best for them, their children, and you're holding out an olive branch really of support. Where I think some organisations from outside the area sort of come swinging in from the trees, offer a lot of support and guidance, and then sort of go swinging out the other side then once they've got outcomes and pictures. And we've been a constant. It's crazy though, isn't it, where you think made so many improvements, everything's still so bad. So how bad was it before?
Violent clashes erupted between police and around 150 people, triggered by the deaths of 2 teenage boys, 15-year-old Harvey Evans and 16-year-old Kyrie Sullivan.
In the most heated moments, the crowd attacks police with fireworks. In turn, they charge.
In the light of day, the true extent of the damage was clear. Amid the clean-up operation, Fires still smouldered. People's cars either smashed or burnt out.
I think voices after that have no way of being ignored anymore, and it's absolutely tragic that something so horrific had to happen to those two boys for things to start being changed. That people think, okay, we'll start helping now. But where were they before? Where was our support before two boys lost their life? Ruben sort of reminds me of myself. I've known him quite a while now and speak to Mum quite regular. His sort of school and education journey was similar to mine, so very capable. Got to sort of year 9, if you like, and sort of didn't apply himself as best as he could. Sort of in and out of education for the next couple of years and into this provision and then that provision. But I think the one constant thing that Ruben's had is being able to fight.
If you're an angry person, boxing's a good sport to get into because obviously you can lay your emotions out. You're in your own zone basically. That's what boxing helps me with. My childhood was good. I've grown up with just my mum, and she'd always work hard to get everything I got now and provide for me and my brother.
Ruben was always a cheeky, inquisitive, funny guy growing up. He was always really thoughtful. COVID came along, and as with many young people, it's had a massive impact on them. Prior to COVID, he was doing football, boxing, rugby. He was a very active young person.
I went to high school, I went to primary school. High school didn't go that well. I got kicked out in year 9. I just didn't really go to school for about a year.
Ruben tried different provisions, and it ended up that he was home tutored by the local authority, provided a tutor for him. That period was obviously difficult. He stopped playing football, he stopped playing rugby, and he stopped boxing as well. And then the incident last year happened where he was arrested.
It was a stressful day, a very stressful day. Me and my mate, we were out doing stuff that we shouldn't have been doing, and then unfortunately I got arrested, got speared off a Chiron, and it all just went downhill from there. I was upset, angry, I was worried, I was stressed because nobody, even though I knew people were there for me, when I was in that cell, because I was so alone, I was thinking, I'm on my own, you're going to be nobody's here for me, what am I going to do? I was stressed out my head.
It was a very emotional night. I just finished shift and I came home and my other son had informed me. I think it was difficult because when the individuals' names were mentioned that he'd been stopped with, it was reality, thinking, oh my goodness, is my son involved in this? How is he involved? How heavily involved is it?
My first interaction with my mum, I went home and I just gave my mum a big hug and told her I'm sorry. And obviously we just sat down and talked about everything.
I contacted Liam, and as soon as Ruben came home, we were like, right, okay, you're going to go back to boxing, Liam's going to set everything up for you.
I think he'll do well in terms of the boxing and in life, because he sort of got to that point that I did where things can't get much worse than this. I have no doubt that over the next months or years there'll be some bumps in the road for Ruben, as do in everyone's life. But I think he's more equipped now than what he was to deal with those, because he's got that team around him. He's got that team in Steve. Mark likes to, deliver some motivational speeches on a Monday when Ruben might say things not going too well over the weekend, and Ruben is very, very respectful of both Steve and Mark.
The winner by a knockout, Steve Robinson, the undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world.
Now that he's down at Steve's, he's still training with Mark and Ely on a Monday, but I think Steve's taken a real shine to him. Maybe it's the Ely thing. Steve's Ely, Ruben's Ely.
One thing is it keeps you away from the streets. It keeps you your mind focused. Oh yes, I'm going to do boxing today. You're always doing something, and you're always motivated. If you can take punches, if you can give punches, it's the right sport for you.
I always say Liam's a good guy. Not just Ruben, any young person, he will go out of his way to ensure that they're receiving the appropriate support.
Ely Boxing Club is a crazy place because it could be some of the most painful days and times you ever have in there in terms of your training, but like you said, you can't help but smile in there. So how do you put people through the pain barrier in order for them to be physically and mentally ready for combat in terms of the boxing, but still maintain that sort of fun element to it? And the character of Mark Atkins is fully testament to why the boxing club is so special in the area. Mark's been volunteering for 20, 25 years. He has probably saved, you couldn't even put a number on how many lives that man has probably saved.
1, 2, 3, 4. Take your time, hands up. No,
between ourselves, with just this season, so we've got what, 150. Mark is delivering to a couple of hundred a week, and the football between just the football, rugby and boxing in terms of the Kaya Ely brand, we're probably working with about 500 people a week.
Well done, Jacob.
To put a number or a figure on the amount of lives directly, never mind indirectly, families and mums and dads pulling themselves to a better place because their children play in sport, I don't think you would ever be able to put a figure on it. The positive fact that sport plays a role so significant in the lives of children is a real positive. But the sad thing is, if the sport wasn't there, they'd have nothing. We work with a couple of hundred kids a week. There's 8,000 children under 18 in Ely. So if we were working with 800, it's only 10% of the population that we want to be working with. So I suppose in a way we need to keep working with governing bodies and keep working with funders and keep working with organisations that can help us push the 20% and 30% and 40%. But we're not going to be able to do that on our own. There's no area or organisations like Ely, so I would be surprised if we didn't succeed, because we have too many good people involved to fail, really.